There was a poll, and it said the U.S. has become less safe for journalists.
It's scary.
One of the least safe places for journalists, I should say. And because of all that we just mentioned in the previous conversation.
Yeah, it affects
because facts interrupt fantasy.
That's real.
And people don't want their fantasy interrupted.
Even when they know it's fake.
Even when they know it's fake.
Yeah.
Because there's a world that's fake called social media and the internet.
America too.
That people have started to live through.
Yep.
And when there's a journalist that comes along and really wants to see if this fake world is real, and they may have their facts interrupt a fantasy, people get mad.
Yep.
And for you, that is getting your degree in journalism, you know, how does that make you feel? Because this is a field that you want to get into because why did you pick this field? Because you want to shed light on things.
Yeah.
And because you like to express yourself.
And tell stories.
And tell stories. Real stories.
Yeah. Not make-believe things or,
and you
want to
bring some information to people.
Yeah.
That's your right.
Yeah, it is.
And it's your First Amendment right.
Exactly.
And it's all
everybody's
right.
Yeah, it's everybody's right.
But they want to threaten your life because you want to tell the truth.
But honestly speaking, I think that America has always been unsafe for real journalists. And if you guys don't remember, I think his name is Gary Webb. He actually exposed how the government planted cocaine in black communities, all that stuff, and he was found dead. And this was like in 2002.
I remember during the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King was one of the people that understood the power of journalists.
Yes,
back
big thing.
then, the power of pictures.
Right.
Because even though people were hearing about what was going on in the South,
but you got to see it
until they started seeing the dogs
on TV.
Until they started seeing the people getting hosed down.
Right.
Until they started seeing the police with batons.
Yeah.
They didn't believe them.
Yeah.
They didn't believe that was really happening in the South. We have to protect journalists.
Yeah,
I feel like we should protect journalists.
I don't even really think, like, nowadays, honestly, everybody are journalists.
I was just about to say that. Because all of us sitting in this room.
Even to the point to where, because I've been seeing it now, you know, rest in peace Nipsey. We always gonna keep bringing up Nipsey, but like the Nipseys, and now they saying Nick Cannon, he went to go see Dr. Sabi's wife, and like he's about to make, you know, he's doing that documentary, so he's gonna be considered a journalist.
But Dr. Sabi's wife is always out talking. Her and his daughter, they go out and they do interviews all the time, and they tell everyone what Dr. Sabi's mission is, and the fact that they think that he was murdered.
Yes,
right.
Yep.
But that's what I'm saying. Like anybody that's
speaking the truth,
especially in the black community. Anybody that's speaking the truth, like we just mentioned, the guy from the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
he got killed. You know,
Darren Seals.
Yeah, so it's like, man, anybody that's really speaking about, especially getting better, and it seems like they die, they get killed.
And that's been happening for a long time.
They're journalists in a sense.
Yeah, and again, I think people get this like misconception somewhat that a journalist is just somebody that's writing articles and doing feature stories, which is cool. I do that, of course. But at the same time, Jay Black, like, you're a journalist. Like, you have your camera, your mic, Kim, you're always speaking, reading things. So I think that everybody has to understand that we're all journalists and that we all have that First Amendment right. But for a very long time, our people, anytime that we even spoke about something, like, you're done.
Because they don't want you to say. They want you to get your ass beat.
Play along. Play along in the
it.
game. Yeah, and it's crazy too on Netflix. Netflix has been like in their bag lately, but the Black Panther documentary, or on the Black Panthers rather, that is really, really good. If you guys ever get a chance, yes,
yeah,
it was dope.
Yeah,
it was dope.
That was good.
And Hoover, bro, he was something. Like, he said that he would do anything to stop the rise of a black messiah, and he said that we can't have anybody speaking on us, any of that. In the moment, Fred Hampton, and I think people that they forget about this, was only 20.
That is revolutionary.
Only
bag.
20 years old.
You know how there's like a bag in every category?
Yeah.
That's my revolutionary bag.
Yep. At
Fred
20.
Hampton.
At 20. And just because he was doing
no,
speeches.
20. We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Keep that. Remember that.
Oh, yeah, because we talk about.
Don't tell them
right.
that.
Hey, that's a good argument.
Remember Fred Hampton was 20 years old.
When he was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
So
and if you don't know who
that
Fred
shows you.
Hampton is, we ain't got time. Google him.
Right. He was active. They
And
said.
remember, he was 20.
Yeah. And Kim, how about this to go even
And remember,
deeper?
MLK was 39
Yeah.
or 38 when he was assassinated.
And Pac was 25 when he died.
Remember all that when
So-
we talk about what we talk about later, y'all, okay?
And Kim, to make your argument even stronger, they said Fred Hampton, he was a force in the party since the age of 16. So the fact that he was so dangerous that they had to come inside of his house, mafia style, and blow down the house, shoot him, kill him in front of his wife who was pregnant at the time. So I think that that's what kind of scares us too when it comes to us speaking out, being vocal, because we know that every prolific black leader, or most, have been assassinated. So
So the data that I found out, this was in an article in NPR. So the U.S. has dropped to number 48 out of 180 in the least safe places for journalists.
48. So who's
Who
number
was, I
one?
was about to say, who was number
Yeah.
Let me see.
Sheesh.
one? And I guess what constitutes as being unsafe.
Safe.
Because, man, them
Let me
people in
listen.
Vice, I'm talking about they be in the middle of the war.
Word.
I'm like, bro, y'all can't pay me enough for that. They be in Israel.
But that's that content, like, you know, that's that compelling content.
I'll do it on satellite, bro. You can do it.
Reporters
from here.
Without Borders dropped the U.S. to number 48 out of 180 on its annual World Press Freedom Index, 3 notches lower than its place last year. The move downwards the country's from satisfactory place work freely to a problematic one for journalists. Never before have U.S. journalists been subject to so many death threats and turned so often to private security firms for protection. 10 journalists have been physically attacked this year, and 46 have been physically attacked since 2017. In January, one reporter was punched in the face and got her phone stolen while interviewing voters in California.
Wow.
Now, we do that all the time.
And you got to think about this, too. It makes sense that we're becoming the most dangerous place because...
The rhetoric, the Trump rhetoric.
I'm about to say, yeah, the so-called leader of the United States is against certain, you know...
That's a good argument.
Some of them people can be lashing out because Trump don't like them.
Yeah.
You know?
That's real. That's real. Because I don't see how it's changed that much. Because I think that, again, for people for centuries in America, if you were speaking facts, you would most likely end up dead. So, I don't know. I think it's kind of stayed the same. And here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Daily World, that was one of the first black newspapers in the country, and they always faced ridicule or attacks and, you know, things like that. So, again, I think from a black person's perspective, I think that it's always been the same for us. It's just I think now white journalists are facing ridicule and harm, but I think black journalists, like, forever.
Journalists.
Yeah, I don't see how it's different.
I think one of the first black, I might be wrong, but I swore I read this somewhere. TV reporters on a national, or not national, but like on the news, the local newscaster, one of the first black ones was on here in Atlanta, and they were trying to get him fired.
Wow. And he's a black journalist. So I think that, again, we've always had that issue.
So the Reporters Without Borders Index evaluates the state of journalism in 180 countries and territories every year. And it shows an intense climate of fear has been triggered, one that is prejudicial to a safe reporting environment. So out of all 180 countries that they looked into, only 8% are considered good.
Wow.
Venezuela is 148th.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought you was going to say 100%.
Russia is 149. And those are apparently our best friends. So we getting stuff from them. Vietnam, 176.
Wow.
Eritrea, where Nipsey Russell is from, is 178.
Hey, Farrakhan, he said the same thing during the
He's
funeral.
not from there. His dad is
Russell.
from there.
That's what
Did I say
Farrakhan
Nipsey
said
Russell?
during the funeral, too. Yeah, Farrakhan, he said that.
I feel so bad because I was like, why is he saying that?
Oh, when Farrakhan was saying it?
Yeah.
He said it like
Nipsey
5
Hussle
times.
is where his dad was from, is 178th. Turkmenistan is 180th.
Turkmenistan.
North Korea went up one. It's 179th. You know, North Korea, they Um,
Yeah, that's wild.
they restrict everything on
Yeah.
their television.
Yeah.
It's the government.
They control everything.
They have to like sing the president a song every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, who is number one?
That should be like Switzerland or something.
Let me see. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, the European Union are the good ones.
Yeah.
I cannot believe Africa. They're in the hundreds too.
Okay.
The countries of Ethiopia is in 110. Eastern Europe, they're struggling too. The Asian Pacific, they're struggling. This is crazy.
Yeah, you just gotta be careful. Gotta be careful.
I just don't understand what it is that makes people not want the truth to be told.
Like what you said with the
facts
lies
interrupt
sometimes.
fantasy.
Yeah, like you don't want that to be screwed
Power.
up. Empowered. Information is powerful. So if you start,
Power shift.
you start speaking facts, then the people could rebel and go against you, and it changes everything. Yeah, it's all a battle. Yeah.
We have to be careful.
Yeah.
We all have to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
So you think what? They should have their own army.
Who?
Journalists.
And you gotta fund it. You gotta. I just think that you gotta build the right connections with the right people and have protection. That's the only thing. Like if you are gonna say things against the government, if you are gonna critique the government, you gotta have protection from outside the government, even if that's illegal.
So that was my argument.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that we have a lot of movements and a lot of armies, but what are we doing with them?
Yeah, I mean, cause too, even when I saw the Nation of Islam in Cali, when I saw him, with Nip, which was a beautiful thing. My only critique, and I love the work that they're doing, is can they do this on a regular basis? And I know that they sell the bean pies, all that stuff, but just like how, I know it's funny, but just like how they had their whole army for that city march.
Well, they got the gang members to get together, and
Wh-
they do a lot
which
of
they
these
have done
things in
before.
each city, and they offer a sense of family.
And they do a lot.
And
They do a lot.
And they are they give young men that may not have any other way to learn discipline.
Yeah,
They
that's
do
facts.
that.
That's big facts.
And that's why a lot of them, when, join when they're in jail. Because it's like they have that sense of family.
Right.
Belonging.
Yes.
And a lot of it, it works.
Big time. I would just like to see the same energy or possible programs or tangible things to help prevent more deaths like Nip or more gang violence. So just like how they were marching, I would like to see them in the streets.
That, but and this is why I like Marianne Williamson, and I know she's not gonna win, and I know no one cares about her, but I like
She's
her
cool.
because she speaks the real truth, and it's below the surface. It's not a physical battle; it's a spiritual battle. And until this country comes to the place where they right their wrongs, and that's why she's for reparations, because all this apologizing, and I see more and more countries starting to apologize until you actually do something about it and just actually work toward getting out all the anger and the pain and then this is gonna keep going back and forth. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a dam.
Yeah, we still have the same issues, but I think that that's the closest organization that provides a possible army is the Nation of Islam. But still, you have to have weapons, all that stuff, of course. But I think that that's the closest thing that we possibly have.
What else did you guys want to talk about? What's on the list?